You know, in the last segment, there's a lot you get worked up about, and you've always been that way. I've known you a long time. You get worked up about stuff,
Yes.
you get happy.
When he was 4, he was like, things were better when I was 3.
I bring a lot of tension into the house, according to my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed, we're always working on me, Like, my wife is evidently some completed work, like under museum glass, and I'm like that building that has scaffolding around it for like 7 years.
You did a show in Reno this weekend, I understand.
Yes, I did.
Okay, how did it go?
It went great. It was just, big show, everything went great, and then one person, I was making fun of the military, which you can't do now. Like, we totally went from Vietnam, all the hippies being like, hey, man, you're like a baby killer, man, to like, now you gotta give like a standing ovation when they walk over to Delta, you know what I mean? Show that you're not in ISIS. Like, I don't know what you have to be doing, like, thank you. And I get that, all of a sudden now, there's like these 20 groups that are like pre-boarding now. Like, half the plane qualifies, and they're getting on, and I just sit there just like losing my shit. It starts off like it's just like anybody in uniform, anybody in military. So it's like, all right. But after like the 20th guy, you just start being like, have you seen action? Are you on the front lines at least?
Does your wife watch any of these games with you? Does she?
No, she has the female, complex, multitasking brain. That's why they can't be happy. They just always, they're like, what is that lizard that can look at 2 things at once? That's what they're like. So they got the shoes they want, and then they see some other woman walking in going, oh, look at this skinny bitch over here. She thinks she's cute, right? And that's what I've learned.
Oh, God.
You know what makes women happy? Nothing. Nothing makes them happy. From when I was a kid, that actually kind of made sense in a way, would now be considered like abuse, I guess. Like when I was a kid, if you didn't finish your supper, as we called it.
Supper, yeah.
Yeah, my mother was just like, well, you're gonna finish, she would just wrap it in cellophane and you just picked up where you left off for breakfast. Like a blue collar job. Like you take the shovel out of the hole and just start digging it again. It's ridiculous. Like that Believe women. It's like all of them. How about 85%? I'll give you 87%, all right? But that last 13% that keys your car, lights your shit on fire, and puts a family pet in a pot of stew.
Who put a pet in a pot of stew?
Glenn Close.
Oh,
Yeah.
Saying that because you're happy that you think your wife and women in general want to take
They're jealous of it. They're jealous how simple the male brain is, that you can just sit there and be entertained and find true happiness, and it just bugs them, so they gotta ruin it. I remember we were having waffles. My mother always made Sunday breakfast, so we had all these waffles, eggs, bacon, this whole layout. My brother was looking at half-eaten cube steaks and a little mound of green bean casserole. And he looked at my mom, he goes, Mom, can I have a waffle? And she goes, no, you gotta finish your supper. He's like, well, after I finish my supper, then can I have a waffle? She goes, no, that is your breakfast. And he goes, oh, Mom, I hate you. And my dad, without looking up, took a full glass of milk and threw it in his face.
Biden's been a big story. He's the front runner. I'm curious what your take is on Joe Biden.
Yeah, I just think that's another stupid thing of just because every mouth breather can chime in. It's never about what the picture's about. It's always what's going on in the corners. Yeah, you landed on the moon, great. But what's up with your helmet? And they always gotta like trash something about.
What are you talking about now?
How like people, they just, look, he's an old guy. Okay, he came up in politics when you shook hands, you kissed babies. He was probably standing on the back of the train. He's so friggin' old. And now it's just, time passed him by.
Right. So you're just thinking that it just is a guy who's older, he's got a different style, and that people are making...
And none of the pictures are that creepy.
Right.
His hand's on woman's hip, right? And then you take the picture, and you just start writing a bunch of creepy shit about what he's doing. It's not like he went for side boob. He wasn't like sliding up. No, it's a total overreaction.
Is that the face someone makes when they're going for side boob?
I would think so,
Here he's go, Conan's going for it!
You know what it is? And look, no, I've made a bunch of mistakes. I don't hold people. I don't know. I still watch O.J. Simpson highlights. I do. I'm a football fan. He's one of the top 5 running backs of all time.
You're able to compartmentalize.
But he's all of that. When he goes into a restaurant and they go, murder me, murder me, he's not just that. He also won the Heisman Trophy. He get 2,000 yards in a 14-game season. It's just like people are they're complex.
Do you think anyone, when he walks into you think when he walks into a restaurant, anyone yells out, Heisman Trophy?
I would be adding stuff on, you know? Naked gun! Naked gun!
Worried about this environmental stuff. You really are worried about it.
I am and I'm not. I just also feel like, you know, it'd probably be a good thing if most of us died. You know what I mean? It would be. There's nothing wrong with driving a gas-guzzling car. There's just too many people doing it.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out a way to like thin out the herd, and it's too late. These are the hard decisions that are going to have to be made. You know how I would do it?
What?
I would randomly sink cruise ships.
Yeah. What? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's hear him out. Why would you randomly sink cruise ships?
Because you get like 2,500 to 3,000 people a whack, right? And I think it's a good mix of people to get rid of. To be honest with you. They're not interested.
What happens after the second time they catch on?
No, because this is what you do. As you're sinking them, you're building an exact replica. So as you're eliminating people, you're like creating jobs. And you just, like a lazy Susan.
What did you say about the military that got people so mad? Or this one guy so mad?
I was just saying, like, yeah, the guy who flies the fighter jet, okay, and has missile shot at him, that guy's a hero. However, if you're the guy that, like, points in the direction that the plane takes off in, you know what I mean? We're kind of watering down what is heroic behavior.
You don't think that guy, the guy who points in the direction is...
Yeah, the guy doing Warrior One, like the yoga pose. Like the battlefield is that way.